Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bonsai Blacksmith. Here we have a Yamadori that I pulled out of the woods a few months ago. This is an Inga laurina, also known as the small ice cream bean tree, because the beans are sweet. They have like a plant fat, like a white plant fat that's fairly similar to like almost like a cotton candy that you can eat. So it's a very cool tree, but its seeds, it's very strong growth and it's all over the place. So let's decide what to do with it next. So this is the only type of tree of this species I have in the garden. It really needs to grow a larger trunk, so I'm just going to put it in a pot similar to this. This isn't the pot it came in. It actually fell out of an air pot, which is more square, rectangular, as you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and do some root work on this as well. I really wanted this to be more of an informal upright. So there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done. So, that all being said, this branch here is way too low. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. I'm not sure of the dieback on this, so I'm going to give it some space to breathe. That's gone. This long shoot, definitely can tell it belongs to the bean family. It definitely, it is all over the place. I'm going to go ahead and cut this shoot shorter for now. None of these are woody enough to go ahead and grow as cuttings, so they're right into the fire pit. So it gives me more work here. So I think also this whole branch system needs to go, so I'm going to cut that off as well. That's gone. So that'll give me more options for this upright business, and we'll cut back the tree and allow it to rebud out. Hopefully it gets more symmetry to itself. So let's see here. Get a zoom up on that. So you can see here that I got some potential nodes that will bud out. I think we got some new growth up here. I'm thinking cutting it back down to here is my best bet, and then letting it regrow, and then letting it grow in this pot and thicken that trunk for another 6 months to a year. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do that cut I just talked to about. There is some woody bits here. I might actually try to make a cutting out of the top bit. So I see new growth up there, all the way up there. I might just embrace that for now. Debate. Further down, further up. Winter's coming. You know what? Fortune favors the bold. Let's cut it down low. That way it has better chance to make a taper as a proper bonsai tree. So there that goes. There's the top. I'll process that into a cutting in at the end of the video. So that's what we're working with now. So you can see those roots are a bit of a mess. So let's go ahead and swap that out and go into this. See if you can see what I'm seeing. So you can see what I'm seeing. So pulling this out of this pot for now. That was just to keep it from falling all over the place. This poor thing has fallen over in the wind many times. As you can see, it was the size of a sail. So root hook time. Let's get that in there. Break this up. This is very loose soil. You can see we got lots of roots though. I'm curious to know if this Inga has a symbiotic relationship with the other Fabaceae. Not all of the family have that trait, and sometimes they just don't have the opportunity to bond with that bacteria because it doesn't exist in their biome. So it's going to be introduced for sure now in this tub because I already have that bacteria in here. So these roots are going to be exposed to that bacteria already. So we're going to keep going at this. I'm not going to be too aggressive. Let's try to radial it out. Might bring it up just a little bit. This is a tree, again, a tree. Yamadori means it's a tree found in nature that I decided to turn into a bonsai tree. It was a sapling, about half this size, but very unique. And it had no future. It was completely under the shade of a tree that was at least 200 years old, not going anywhere, along the water, you know, in a flood zone. And its parent tree, it definitely had all the high ground, all the good spots. So it was only a matter of time before this guy checked out. So I decided to save him. Let's go ahead and take this other tool here. Now this is a little high for me. I think I'm just going to go a little bit more traditional. Put this back here, take that off, and just pull right to the table. That works a lot better for me, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this apart. I'm gonna change the zoom for you though. All right, so we got a nice zoom up here. You can see what's going on. Break out these roots. A lot of roots there. If you guys saw the original video, I'll put a link in the description of me initially planting this tree, and you can see how far this root system has come along since doing that. Amazing how a little bit of TLC goes a long way with trees or plants in general. So, gonna keep this going on to see what we're working with for Nabari. It looks like we have some serious Nabari potential here. Got a truck going by. Apologies for the noise. That'll pass soon. There we go. Yeah, definitely a lot going on there. See what's going on underneath. Yeah, it's pretty flat underneath. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, guys. I got a nice low bottom here. I don't know if I want to wash these out or not. There goes the truck finally. All right. I think we're gonna keep these roots as is. They look mighty fine. What do you guys think? All right, next step. Timber. So I'm just going to trim these roots lightly, nothing too crazy. I want this tree to really just bounce back pretty quick. Do some ramification. I don't want to do anything too crazy. We are going into winter. I'll take this tree out in about 6 months to really identify what the next step is. But yeah, I think that's a good healthy amount of roots that have taken off, about at least a third of them. Let's go place it in here and put some soil around it. That's my next step. Check the bag here, make sure there's no surprises for me. Place some of this soil around the base of this tree. Hopefully it'll grow out. Fill out that tree, that trunk rather. I want this trunk to swell. Once the trunk swells, it'll be more appropriate to start thinking about more bonsai style pots. This is still a bonsai in training. Yes, it's a Yamadori. I like the way it looked. It was unique. It's pulled from the woods, and but at the same time, it's still premature to take a Yamadori out of the woods. Those are usually more developed trees than this, just to clarify that for people. Now all I have to do is I'm going to water this and take off some of the leaves here. I'll do that next. Alright, so what am I trimming off this? Well, that's a good question. I don't want this leaf pointing down, so that's gone. Might let this continue to grow to help the system pull nutrients to the top. It's got some new growth starting right here. So I think realistically, I think I'll just leave it as is and let it grow, and it definitely will backbud, and I'll give you updates on that. So let's take a step back and see how it looks all together. Here's the top view of what I've left for foliage on this tree. It'll certainly backbud down here. I can almost sense it. I'm going to put some wound sealant on these cuts here, the bigger ones at least, and we'll go from there. So we have some soil here in this pot, and this is going to be where I put my cutting. I'm only going to try one cutting. There's enough woody stem here to be able to attempt a cutting. We got root hormone, very important. I'm going to go ahead and strip these lower branches off. I'll leave these two leaves on for now just to help. This is all discard. A little bit messy here, apologies for that. And noisy, also apologies for that. So we'll make a hole here to put the trunk of the cutting, or what will be the trunk of the future tree. Go ahead and put this in there. Cover that in root hormone. There we go. And place that in there at least 5 centimeters or a couple inches, 2.5 inches into the soil. And then go ahead and wet this afterwards once you've pressed the soil down. It helps secure takes the air pockets out and secures the cutting into the soil. Or you can put a tray of water under that so it doesn't dry out. And that's how you do an Inga laurina cutting. Hopefully that will survive. You can always do a little insurance by putting a little wound sealant, carefully, without spilling any, on there. That'll help keep the moisture of the tree there inside, and also reduces the chances of getting infections or bacteria, things of that nature. While I'm on the idea, I'm going to go ahead and just seal the big cuts on the original tree from the cutting. Let's go and do that. There. And there. Alright, so there's that. The trees and the cutting are all sealed up. Got the root hormone on the cutting, and that's only a matter of time. Alright, so I have the Inga laurina, Yamadori all pruned down, both in the root sense and the foliage sense. I have a cutting that I'm going to try to salvage. They've been sealed with wound sealant, so they're covered that way. Both been watered. Now, probably asking yourself why I took it out of the air pot or not using an air pot here. I'm going to actually be reducing the amount of time I'm going to be with my trees here for the winter, so I want them to be easy to take care of. So I've given them more soil and set up ways for them to get more nutrients so they don't need daily care or every other day kind of care. So that's why I did that. This is a very prolific tree. It's got a lot of life. It wants to live. It reminds me of other members of this species. They're very fast growers. They can grow as 6 feet tall in their first year. Many of the tree variants of the Fabaceae family can do that. So if you have any questions about this tree or any other trees or anything that I make or do, go ahead and put them in the comments, and consider liking and subscribing for moral support, and I'll catch you all next time. Thanks again for hanging out with me.